The pound sterling and the euro dropped amid the Fed's meeting results. However, early today, the European currencies managed to recoup some of its losses. Notably, the euro advanced even after the publication of the eurozone inflation figures. Thus, consumer prices declined by 0.2% compared to a climb of 0.4% in the previous months. Most market participants have ignored the data, as it was the final report that only proved the preliminary estimates. In other words, traders priced in the figures long ago. At the same time, investors are waiting for a rather weak report on the year's unemployment claims. Economists suppose that the number of the first-time claims may decline. However, the continuous claims are expected to rise. Thus, the US labor market is recovering extremely slowly. Against the background, the euro showed a jump. The euro-dollar pair managed to drop from the resistance level of 1.1900 to 1.1755. On August 21st, 27th and September 9th, the price slowed down at the mentioned and rebound. This time, the quote also rebounded to the level of 1.1810 after hitting a 1.1755. If the pair fixes below 1.1810, it may start hovering within 1.1755 and 1.1810. Otherwise, the euro-dollar pair will return to the range of 1.1810 and 1860. At the same time, the pound sterling's dynamic depends on the Bank of England's meeting results. Economists suppose that the decision made during this meeting may have a negative influence on the British pound. Taking into account the Brexit issue, the Bank of England will have to warn market participants about a possible key interest rate cut at the beginning of 2021. If the UK leaves the European Union without a trade agreement, the British economy may experience the first downturn. In this case, the monetary authorities will have to switch to the ultra-loose policy to cushion the blow. Thus, if the regulator only drops a hint about such a decision, the pound sterling may resume losing in value. While rising from the level of 1.2770, the pound-dollar pair reached the psychological level of 1.3000. However, later the pair dropped. If the price fixes below 1.2880, the downward trend will be resumed. Otherwise, the pair may fluctuate between the levels of 1.2900 and 1.3000. That's all for now. We continue to learn developments on financial markets. Subscribe to our channel and keep abreast of latest events with us. See you in a couple of hours on our channel with a new video.